Hey, good morning. It's Michael from the bike shop at Yamba. If I could give people one tip about making your bike work more efficiently, it would be this: keep your tires pumped up. I'm amazed how many people ride around with their tires underinflated. It's harder to pedal, so much less efficient. It doesn't handle as well. And all you gotta do is just make sure your tires are pumped up. For me, it's the same as just checking that you've got fuel in the car if you're going to drive. But I'm then also amazed how many people don't even have a pump of their own, or at least a decent pump. So let me talk pumps first. You get floor pumps, this sort of beast over here, and little hand pumps. And my thought about pumps is this: unless you're going to carry it around with you and be prepared to pump it up on the way, have a floor pump at home. Far, far more efficient and less pumping. For me to pump up a big tire like this one over here, seriously, it's like a 10, 12, 15-minute job with a hand pump. And what will happen is you'll get bored and you won't pump it up enough because you've been pumping too long. So instead of using something small like this, get yourself a decent floor pump, and the whole cylinder here is what holds the air, compared with this tiny little metal tube over here holding the air. Much less pumping, you'll be done in a minute, and you'll also make sure that your tires are running properly. The other thing is, make sure your pump has got a gauge on it so you know exactly how much air you're putting in. It's not done by feel. You can't just poke it and hope you've got enough in there. Use the gauge so you know exactly how much air is going in there as well. Now, lots of different types of pumps depending on the different valves that you've got. The two main ones that I look at are, these are a universal head. So what the universal head means is that I just simply put it on, lift the lever to lock it, which is different from a car foot pump, lift the lever to lock it and pump away. Other chucks that I've got on some of my pumps, I've got, this one isn't a smart chuck, but what it is, it's a dual-headed pump. So I use the appropriate one based on the various valve sizes that I've got. And finally, and this is my favorite because it's the most secure, I have a screw chuck. So I screw that on, and that way I know I've got a nice link in there. Now, how much air should we put in the tires? Well, let's check that out. So on the side of the tire, it actually tells you how much pressure to put in there. So this one says min 30, max 50 PSI. In Australia, we're going to work with PSI. It's also got bar as well. Here's a different tire, and this one looks like it's saying 35 to 65 PSI. So, how much to put in there? Well, I'm probably going to go just halfway between the two. I'm going to err towards the higher side though. So if I was riding around town on this particular tire, I'd probably put in there 40, 45. Here's another one, make it quite obvious on this one, 40 to 65 PSI. So check out the sidewall of your tires. If you make it easy for you, just take a picture of it so you can see exactly for next time what you need. In Australia, there are two types of valves we're likely to come across. There's this type, which is the American or Schrader valve, and that's typically the ones you'd find, say, on like a car, which means that these ones you can pump up at the servo. So Schrader or American valve. We also have this valve, which is a Presta or French valve, or some people just call it a skinny valve. The main thing about this is you can't pump this up at the servo, not without an adapter, even though they don't work very well. And you have to unscrew the tip at the end to unlock it, so you can get the air in and out. When you finish pumping, you've got to screw it back in to lock the valve in place. All right, so let's put this pump head on this valve and we'll put some air in. So remember, on these ones, lift the lever to lock it. So start with the lever down. I'm going to push it in, bracing on the opposite side. So I'm pushing, make sure the valve's not being pushed back in, and then lift the lever to lock it in place. So I'm going to use my screw chuck. I'm going to screw this on to this valve head, the valve over here. I can turn on my pump, And let me just change this angle so you can see what's going on here. All right, so this time the pump is showing I've got 29 PSI. Let's go and push this up to 45 or so. Done. I'm happy with 42, that'll do me. Okay, so then we're just going to unscrew the chuck. All right, and then unscrew the chuck. And you can use a valve cap. Valve caps, by the way, they don't keep the air in. It's just to keep some of the dirt out. So your tyres aren't going down because you haven't got a valve cap on. You've probably got a puncture. You know what I mean? All right, so real simple. Get yourself a decent pump. Make sure you know what your tyre pressure is supposed to be and ride at the right pressure. You know, I'm not necessarily a lazy person. I just hate doing things that are harder than they need to be. And riding around with your tyres low, that's kind of one of those things for me. So it's Michael from Bike Shop Yamba. If you have any questions about this or need some help, come talk to me and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.